My name is Gediminas Kvietkauskas. Well, it's a pleasure to be in Riga. I must say thank you for your English. At least I understood something. I'm here to tell you, firstly, who we are, because I'm sure you don't heard a word about us, because, well, we are from Lithuania. I'll tell you why we did an IPO and what are our plans for the future, and maybe also why I am in Latvia, because Latvia will be mentioned a couple of times as well. So, well, we are a Lithuanian company. Beginning is 2006. It's not visible here. So we've been two young boys who started this company doing agriculture machines. There are a lot of rumors about agriculture. I believe that in Latvia it is the same like in Lithuania. Usually, in the public opinion, you can hear that agriculture is something which needs subsidies to survive. Without subsidies, it won't live. That poor farmers always suffer, and so on and so on. So when we came to IPO especially, we need to change the public opinion, but not to lie about public opinion, but to change the public opinion. Usually farmers are rich people, and we changed the, what's that in English exactly? Probably yes, inception, perception. We changed perception that the attitude to the farmer and to the farm business should be as to businessman and to business. So if you don't declare a farmer as a businessman, there's nothing to talk about the future of agriculture, about the money which are in the agriculture portfolio and so on, because it's not only machinery. We do machinery, it's a part of it, but there is a fertilizers, there is a farmering, meaning grain harvesting, milking, and so on and so on. So we have this proverb, a white crow in Nasdaq, really. Not so many agriculture machinery companies here, but oh, I lost a view. Anyway, no, for me it's okay. I remember. And so our story starts 2006. And we all the time were performing aggressive growth. Well, aggressive growth always means a lack of money. We always needed money. We were short of money. We were forced to do uncommon ways, attracting a capital from alternative sources, not only bankings and so on. Bankings, especially in 2008, strictly believe that agriculture is something very unperspective and unsafe. But actually, we see that in the BVP portfolio, BVP in Latvian is BVP as well? Yep, BVP. So it has a most significant part in economy. And we were performing very, very nice all the row of the years. And 2012, we saw that potential of company to grow and to sell, we have much more than we can finance our business, because our business is expensive. It needs a lot of money. To do, let's say, here, 6 million euro turnover, you need to have at least 5 million euro on the stock, and you don't have it. So we were very open-minded and always looking for alternative ways. So we sold 51% of our shares to a big Lithuanian player, KG Group, which is one of the biggest companies in Lithuania, meaning they participate in poultry business, in mills business, in grain supply business, in fertilizer supplies business, and so on. So we sold 51% of the shares to this company. In 3 years, we did impressive growth. We met them here. And we split it in 2015. So we tripled the company. We did an MBO, management buyout. And then we got the world famous brand Massey Ferguson for dealership in Lithuania, which meant to us that we will need much more finances to increase our stocks, increase our sales potential, and so on. So we decided, started to think what we're going to do. And when you do such aggressive growth, in some point, all the possible money are closed for you because, well, you're looking for a future. When you are growing, it's always, you should know that, when you're growing, it's always a tragedy because you look to, when you do it in 2015, you know about 2016 performance, but all the banks and finance people values you at 2014 balance sheet. So there's this balance anyway. We decided to do a crazy thing, to do an IPO, which was really crazy when we thought about that. And well, it was really hard process. That's why really to congratulate Latvian Madara company, which is a very nice example as well. And probably the topic is similar, the amounts are similar. And I know that it was difficult for them as well, but at least they are in the, let's say, recognizable business, cosmetics. Everyone understands cosmetics. But when you come to IPO, talk about tractors, well, it was really a challenge. Because usually the picture of a tractor driver is, you know, long boots, dirty shoes and so on. But we did it. So ever today, well, we are still growing. By the way, what is still uncommon, we are on Nasdaq lists only since 2016 May, and I'm still sometimes catching myself that when I talk to the future, some numbers are coming, but I cannot tell the numbers, sorry. But 2017, it is a growth as well. Our incomes in the last 3 years, let's say 2015, 13 million, 2016, 23 million. As you might see that there is slight growth in 2017, but we cannot show yet. But it's on the way. EBITDAs are growing also all the time. Yeah, again, I cannot tell much. But employees, the staff was increasing all the time. So we sold the 2016 550 machines, which means it's not a significantly big number of contracts, but the amounts of each deal is very big. And this year we did 750 machines, and we are coming close to the ceilings what we can do in Lithuania. Right now we are one of the top 3 players in Lithuania in agriculture business. It is a brand business, so it's very easy to calculate. There's John Deere, Case, New Holland, and etc. And we do Massey Ferguson. We have about 15% of market share in tractor business. Just to describe that total market of new tractors in Lithuania is 1,200 tractors annually, and combines is 250 annually. And our middle price of a tractor is around 90,000 euro what we sell, and middle price of a combine is around 180,000 euro what we sell. So 2016 figures 15% and 20 of the market shares, and 2017, well, this is clear, it's around 20% of a tractor business, market share of a tractor business, and around 25 of a combine business. Well, when you grow aggressively all the time, always you need to find the different, as I said, different solutions how to attract alternative money sources. So as I said, we sold 51% of the shares to KG Group. Usually what happened next, the big groups absorbs finally the small companies. But we went opposite, we offered KG Group a buyout. To do a buyout, we needed money as well. So we managed to attract, to invest into us Practica Venture Capital, which is a venture capital, usually working with startups. And after 10 years of work, we're really not a startup, but we attracted them to come to our structure through subordinated loans. And again, 2017, we do an IPO in Nasdaq Vilnius. So IPO was successful. We had an oversubscription of 22%. We spread it 125,000 ordinary shares. well, at that moment we had more than 100 extra investors, and by now it should be about probably 200, because meanwhile, after the IPO, we, what's that? No, not yet. We gifted, if it's the right word, we granted some shares to 35 major people in our company. I'm losing a screen again. Oh, anyway, it's not for me only. Yeah. So the final structure is remaining me and my colleague owning 40 and 40, and 20% belongs to the smaller shareholders, including 30 employees of East West Agro. Key dates after the IPO. So May 22 was a stock listing day. Then in July, I suppose, there was a dividends, 1.6 euro per share. We promised that during the IPO. Our dividends policy is minimum 25% annually. I say minimum because I can see that after this year it will be more than 25, and we are willing to pay dividends. We want to pay dividends. Then June 28, company shares to employees, as I mentioned. And then we start our investments where we use the money collected in the IPO. So from the 3 million euro, I wouldn't say everything is wasted. It's invested. It's invested into new facilities, which are, let's say, ends up our expansion in Lithuania. We built the structure to do the services, the service points, the sales points, and so on. We increased. We invest a lot into the working power. We added about 30 specialists to the organizations, and I believe that in Lithuania we're more or less coming to the ceilings where there's not much more to expand into in the business we do and we know. And naturally, I spend a lot of time in Latvia, Estonia during the summer and autumn currently. And we see clearly, and we were declaring that during the process of IPO, during the roadshow, that basically IPO for us wasn't the purpose of that wasn't that we really needed this money, but we needed to do IPO with intention that we will be expanding much more regionally wise, and we will need probably someday to go to do an SPO. And SPO probably will be, even the portfolio we did is 3 million euro, comparing it to our turnover is really not big and not really significantly important. But it was important for us to do this step, and it was important for us to go to First North as well. Because First North for companies like us, like Mother, is a good platform to train ourselves to behave in the stock market. Because anyway, it's new, and usually the shareholders and owners on such of companies are inexperienced, and I talk about myself as well. 1 year ago, I really understood nothing about stock market, and I'm not talking even about the behavior. It still has some questions, and anyway, now we are in the stock market. We are in the First North. I don't want to comment much about liquidity of shares because, let's say, in the current, I wouldn't say it is unliquid. It's moving. We have some sales. We have I missed one point. Yeah, we had a market making. We tried with SB Bank in Lithuania. Now we swapped it to Orient Securities. So even with doing market shares, we have some movements, but we really don't concentrate much into what's happening now on the stock market, because our vision to perspective is much bigger. It's not 3 million euro. We did 3 million euro only to, at least to be interested to somebody, because if you do 1 million or 2 million, no one cares really. 3 million, no one cares really. The next steps probably are going to be much bigger, because acquisitions, what we do, and the companies we are searching, and let's say we are in the process right now, Latvia, Estonia, are the companies with a huge experience, the companies in the market for many years, and I must say, it also became a strategy, because we don't want to start a new business here. Here meaning Latvia or Estonia. We want to do in Latvia and Estonia start up from the first day. So we want normal, wealthy organization, and we are talking to companies which are 20, 25 years old here and Estonia as well. And I must say that 2018, well, everyone will hear much more about us in these countries as well, because we are getting, let's say, to the end of negotiations with our target companies, what we do. And let's say January, February, some announcements will come. And this will be a start for communication probably about SPO, because currently, well, SPO, let's say, it's my target point. I mean, what we want to do and where to develop. But there are other sources as well, which are not, I would say, excluded. We can do bonds, we can go forward with the banks, but when you see the amounts which comes when you buy a company, probably it will be SPO anyway. So, in the short way, probably this is what I want to tell. Because
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Gediminas, please? Maybe I've got one question, definitely. I think many people don't realize that some of this equipment costs as much as a Bentley. I think it can generate more cash return than a Bentley in terms of buying it, but how easy is the financing? Do you help with that as well, or how does that work?
Well, I don't know exactly how it is in Latvia. Of course, I have a view, I have a picture, because I talked a lot during this year about it's similar as it in Lithuania. As long as a subsidy remains as a direct subsidy for a machine, it's difficult with financing and so on and so on. But when you come to a business-to-business pitch, I mean, when subsidies are ahead and the farm as a business does an investment to a working tool combine, then it is easy. It's no problem. I mean, usually banks now accept it as a normal leasing as a car. This is it. But car is, by the way, you mentioned that car is yes. So in our case, it is a tool, an only tool. There's nothing about emotions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just in terms of operations, it's pan-Baltic, and I guess people always like to understand differences between. And I mean, there's, for example, one other agricultural-related company listed in Lithuania, which is Gediminas Agro.
Yeah.
What would you say, just in a couple of words, what are the key differences between the two companies?
Gediminas Agro and us.
Yes.
Gediminas Agro, let's say, Gediminas Agro owns a company like us in the portfolio they have. So our business is only a part of that. Mm-hmm. So, well, it is much bigger and wider, I would say, business map, what they do. Meaning they do agriculture as business, farming, they do fertilizer business, they do seeds production business, they own companies in Denmark and so on. Mm. They are much bigger, but you never know what we can do as well.
Well, I think the key thing here, though, is that you're specializing in a particular sector.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to bring out.
Yeah.
So
but honestly speaking, Gediminas Agro is an example where we want to go when we talk about future acquisitions, after we finish the Pan-Baltics.
Mm-hmm. Makes good sense. Just in terms of your shareholder base, you mentioned 40 plus 20, I think, on the previous slide. For retail investors who are looking at this, you mentioned very importantly also that there is a market maker, which is quite important. Is there much like equity research available on the company at the moment? Is anyone writing about the company in terms of broker reports? or anything like that?
Yeah. But we are doing these half a year reports.
Equity. No, you're talking about financial reports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but any analysts writing about your, your company as well?
Yes.
Okay. Where could people get hold of this information?
Unfortunately, I probably didn't make my contacts, but www.eva.lt, and there's an investors this part where you can search the data you need, and it's been updating recently all the time.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, thank you very much.
Then if there's no further questions, Ačiū. And
Paldies.
Lūdzu.